Welcome back to No Intro Wrestling Podcast. I have not just one, but I got two special guest hosts today. I got the returning big sexy Jose and
What's
the
up?
the legend who's shows up when he wants to, Richard. That's how you say your name, right, Richard?
Yeah, man. Any
Some
way you
because
want it.
sometimes people have different names and all that, so they're
Nah,
like,
it's cool.
that's how you pronounce it, but that's not how you say my name, you know.
Nah, it's all
So
good.
It's Richard, like what do you call it? Like Mace
Like
and Mace
Marseille,
there you
Marseille and
go.
and
Mansoir.
Francois.
But
Man.
but Richard, you don't have any headphones because there's a chance you may sound like kind of echo.
I could get some if you want me to, man. No
Uh,
issue.
I don't know. It's up to you. But
Nah, I don't care.
yeah, we'll figure it out. It's all right. Just
Next time we got it.
try not to talk too fast though, because there is a slight chance we're gonna hear like an echo from your end.
So I gotta do it like how in the Asian movies.
Yes, there you go.
Oh, cool.
Indeed.
Facts. So I don't know how. Oh, so well, first before we get started, Jose, not Jose, you're Jose. Ever's not with us for this episode because he's out celebrating his 1 year anniversary. So congrats to Ever on that.
Nice.
So
Congrats on that.
Yeah, for real.
so
Relationship ain't
congrats.
easy, so making it a year, that's
A year. Yes, a happy year. Everybody can make it a year, but a happy year, not a lot of people can say that. So congrats
exactly.
to that.
Yeah.
Congrats to Ever and Casey. So I don't know where you guys want to start. Do you want to talk about? Let's go ahead and talk about Tommy Oliver.
Yeah, man. That was
Let's do it.
I know it's not wrestling topic or whatever, but we talked about it earlier, and you guys posted it on Facebook earlier and on on IG. But we just lost somebody who meant a lot to us while we were kids. Not just us three, everybody. There's people who are in
There's
their
a whole
40s,
generation.
a whole generation, people who are in their 40s and 50s who are affected by this, posting pictures that they met him. Because it's like even in their teenage years, he was a big deal to them. And we lost them just like that.
I mean,
Yeah.
just to correlate one with the others, like for all of us that have been, lifelong wrestling fans, Power Rangers is kind of the exact same thing. We all came at it in our childhoods at different stages. Like for me, I started with the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers,
I did
and
too.
watching it as a kid and seeing the whole Green Ranger storyline into the White Ranger, and I really followed the show, their series, probably up until In Space. It was probably the last one, or maybe Jungle Fury might have been like the last one that I was like continuously watching. I definitely remember watching when he came back as the Dino Ranger, and then just kind of
Right.
seeing the little spin-offs in there. But out of all that have really, defined that legacy of just being a Power Ranger, he was probably at the forefront of that. And like you said, this is a loss that definitely has hit multiple generations. Because if anything, like we're all around similar, or maybe a few, couple of years apart. Like me, I'm 38. I know you guys are. I think you're like
I'm
what
30.
30, right? 30
Yeah.
and 30,
31. Yeah.
30 and 31. So we're a couple of years apart and whatnot, and we hit it at different stages. But it's just something that we've felt along. Between that and Kevin Conroy too. That a little bit over a week ago. Same thing. Losing two '90s icons for us. Kind of back to back, and just see how it happened too. That's just the tragedy of it is, a death is always tragic, but just how it happened, or how it's being reported that it's happened.
Yeah. When Richard told me how he passed, and I was just like, I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Because it's like him,
Yeah,
Jason
that's
David
crazy.
Frank, him doing that. No, but then I started doing more research a little bit, and then you start, because everybody, like, especially for me, I start becoming a detective, trying to figure this out. Like, that's going to bring him back. And then it's like, I realized, damn, he hasn't posted in a couple of days. He's always posting something. And, from little messages or videos of his fans or something, or promoting, hey guys, I'm going to be here in your town, blah blah blah. And then also finding out that he just his divorce was final not that long ago too. And then if you look back in the photos that he posted recently, he does not look happy. I mean, I
Yeah.
could just be saying that just because, like, oh, the messages are there.
Yeah, the clues are there,
The clues
and
are there.
it's super unfortunate because super nice guy, was chill with everybody. You can meet him at one of the conventions, and down to earth. And it's those ones that you know have that aura around them,
Right.
always kind, everything like that. You could go from Chester to Robin Williams.
Yeah.
You know,
Robert Williams was a big
unfortunate,
hit
man.
too. When I found out that he passed, and I was just like, I don't see it. And then once again, when she started looking back in his life, it's just like the signs were there. Like it's just like, damn. And it's tragic. It sucks. It's one of those feelings because I don't like comparing a celebrity to an actual family member to mine, but how I feel now, it's like how I felt once I found out about my cousin passing. I don't believe it.
Yeah,
It
Right. Yeah, I mean, just like how you mentioned, Rich, earlier with like Chester, like I probably have not felt a loss like that probably since Chester, just because same thing. Like Linkin Park was a
yeah.
big part of my teenage years. Me getting into metal, getting into alternative music. Linkin Park was one of those gateway bands. Robin Williams, same thing. I felt his a lot too, just because I grew up on Hook,
Mm,
uh, Genie
flubber.
from Aladdin, so many Mrs. Doubtfire, and all those other iconic roles that he did, and just his personality, how outward it is, and just like how you said too, and it's like we when it happens, after it happens, that's when we really see the signs and see there. In real life time, though, we tend to overlook, and that's kind of like one of the big things with like mental health wise is you sometimes see it and you try to act on it, especially if it's someone
right.
that's close to you. That's a family member, a friend, someone that's is in your heart. To where other times, you're just kind of looking like, oh, they're just maybe dealing with something. Maybe it's just nothing too big, and we never see it coming because I think what I would surmise is that when they take that decision to do something like that, it's like a last minute kind of thing. It just kind of becomes a I hit that point and then just do it.
Yeah, and it sucks because there's people going through stuff where it's like for you guys it may not be a big deal, but for me I may not be able to handle it or the other way around. And it's like that's why we can never figure it out because once you find out somebody's going through something, it's like, oh, I went through the same thing too. You'll get over it, but then
Yeah,
that person doesn't get over it, and it's just like, but if but the problem is people in that shoe where it's like if I come up to you say, "Oh, I've been through there, you'll get over it." But if you're not getting over it, come to me and I'll help you because it's like if this person overcome whatever I'm going through, I'm gonna go and ask an advice, and hopefully it's the best advice. But be honest, saying like because not a lot of people know where there is times, and I had that dark moments too because I saw my dog pass away. Like I saw him get hit by a car. That's an image I'm never gonna get rid of my mind.
damn.
So it's like me explaining people where it's like I'm heading towards a dark path that I don't want to go towards. So whatever I'm about to tell you, please take it serious because that's where I'm at. And like, oh, okay, definitely, I'll take you serious. Because a lot of people don't mention that part. They just say, "Hey, I'm going through some stuff," but they don't tell the part where it's like it's gonna lead to a way that I don't want it to end. That's the problem that people don't speak up about because it's like, oh damn, because if you mention that, I'm definitely gonna take that part serious. Because
Yeah.
like I said, everybody's issue is they handle it differently. So that's why it's good to talk or even pull somebody aside. Let me chat with you. There's I'm pretty sure a 1-800 number, right? You
Yeah.
guys posted it. I'm definitely
Yeah,
gonna be sharing that. I don't know how. Maybe I'll put a number
Yeah.
on the
There's
screen.
Yeah, it's National Suicide Line. They also do text messaging too as well. So there's resources out there. It's just always taking that first step to getting there and just kind of talking about it, because a lot of times too, a lot of people just they keep things bottled inside just because they don't want to be a burden on anyone else. And even though you might tell them, hey, you can come and talk to me about anything, they just don't want to feel like they're a burden, and they just
Right.
suffer in silence. And like, I'm kind of like that. I bottle a lot of my stuff up inside, and it just comes out at different times and under different
Same.
circumstances. Never like in a self-harming kind of way. Well, kind of like when I was drinking, it would kind of be then. Um, but I've always been one to tell people too, like, hey, come talk to me. If you need to. I'm more of a listening ear than I'm more willing to open up about
Yeah,
myself.
I'm more of a listener as well than
Same.
me talking.
I'm an open
But
door. That's what it is
yeah,
with me.
Mm-hmm.
No matter what, the door is always open. Call, text, come by. You know,
for sure.
there's help from every place. It's just looking for it.
There's always hope. It's just the people
And that's the tough part,
assume
though.
assume they don't want to bother you with it. But if it means you're gonna stay here, yes. I
Yeah.
Yeah.
yes. Of course I'm gonna take the
Yeah.
time to help you, especially if you're getting to that point.
Yeah.
Uh
Middle of the night, I've gotten calls, and I'm like, fuck it. I mean, I don't mind losing sleep if it means you are okay at the end of this.
right. And it's better because there's people that they'll say it themselves, saying like it's better to talk to a stranger than somebody or at least somebody where it's like, because sometimes even your closest friends can't even help you, and your best friends can't even help you. They could give you the right guidance and stuff, but sometimes even that doesn't help you. Um, but yeah, so Jason David Frank left. He's not with us no more. He left a family behind. His daughter. I only know one daughter. I believe Jenna Frank. Uh,
Jenna, and then I think from his marriage, there might have been like at least three more other kids that I guess were his stepkids.
yes, I knew. Well, I didn't know how many he stepkids. I just assumed he only had one. I only heard about
Well,
the one.
the TMC report that I read, it said four kids left behind. So I'm assuming, like I said, the other three were from his wives or his ex-wives
Mm.
now, from probably a previous relationship or a previous marriage. But I only know of Jenna as being like his biological, full-blooded daughter.
Did he ever finish the White Legend, the Dragon movie?
I think they were already in post-production from the last few posts that I saw
The
about
Legend
it.
of the White Dragon. That's what it's
Yeah.
called.
Yeah.
I hope they finish that, but at the same time, that would kind of suck that they did because that's like, but
Alas.
it's a
Right.
loss. But at least we get one more film from him. Because to be honest, as much as I loved him as the Power Ranger, I feel like he should have done more movies or shows.
Oh yeah, most
He
definitely.
could have, but he was just that's what he was
That's
known.
what
So
he
that's
was done. Yeah.
yeah, that's what he was known, and that's what he stuck to it. So, but you guys are lucky for meeting him because he was in my bucket list, and man, I can't believe I lost that.
Yeah.
Like that moment.
And I mean, granted, the day, I mean, in my case, it was like right at the start of where like things were opening up again because mine happened during the pandemic, my meet
Yeah,
and
I
greet.
saw that.
And that's why I was in a mask and he was in a mask and we were like distance out. But, it was still an opportunity. I was like, I can not go for this. How many opportunities, especially when things were just opening up again and we're
Yeah.
so unsure about what was going to be the future for us, as far as like interactions, public gatherings, things like that on there. And, the comic book store that I went to, there's one that I go to for my books and all that stuff. They're great about, keeping running a meet and greet and stuff like that. And they kind of kept it, everybody was distanced out. There was a whole, smooth program to, be able to get in there, talk to him real quick and, get whatever you were going to get because he had a whole layout of stuff. I got an autographed copy of, it was like a solo Tommy Oliver graphic novel. I can't remember the
Oh,
name of it right now. It's the one that's in the picture that he's, holding up there and got it autographed and got to express my gratitude to him as a fan. And he was really talkative about everything and just kind of chopped it up for a few seconds, and then you just kind of had to keep it moving because there was other people obviously in
right.
line.
What was your experience with him, Richard?
See, I barely got to meet him. It was a brief, hi and bye type thing.
Was that a meet and
But
greet as well? Or
It was at
wait,
one of the
did you just
conventions. I can't remember.
oh you just saw him and then
Yeah,
you
so I
just
was
went
on the
out to
way
him?
out, and he was right there. Quick
Mm,
little wave. I'm sure he could have stopped, or I would have stopped, and could have interacted. But you know, it comes to you never know when your last time meeting these people are.
yeah, that's and because we're so focused. I mean, normally it's the other way around. We're so
Yeah,
focusing on the celebrities and we forget about our family for a second. But then because of what just went I went through, it's like now I'm more focusing on my family, and it's like now, damn, now my favorite celebrities are passing. So
yeah,
it's like,
exactly.
and now we
Right.
live in an era where it's like, yeah, I'm bummed out that I couldn't gone to one of his conventions, but it was either one or the other. It was either I had the money but I didn't have the time, or I had the time but I don't have the money, or I have both, but then finding out, oh damn, I can't go because I have another thing to go to. And then we live in an era now where it's like you have so many ways of reaching out to not just him, but to other celebrities like
Yeah,
cameos and stuff like that. You can't meet them personally, but a special message. Uh, but yeah, it's just it sucks because like I'm happy that I got to meet Jeff Hardy because Jeff Hardy was basically like a Power Ranger to me.
yeah,
Right.
And so when I met Jeff Hardy and got an autograph and I told him like, hey, you were a big inspiration like to me as a kid and stuff like that. The only bad thing is I lost a photo of me and Jeff Hardy, but I still have his autograph with my
yeah,
name. So I'm happy with that. But Tommy Oliver and Jason David Frank, one of the big people I wanted to meet. Second, next to him is John Cena. So um
yeah.
but and also like, Jason David Frank, he's like the only, I don't know if you guys agree with me, but the Green Power Ranger, the White Power Ranger, he's like the only, I don't know the right word, I guess, celebrity or superhero who I wanted to be in the WWE, like dream matches.
Oh yeah,
Right.
You know,
easily could
That,
have done it.
yeah,
like
Easily.
how they did with Stephen Amell and Green Arrow, like
Yep.
that could
right.
have been,
Yes, yes,
especially. Oh, that would have been so dope, especially where like New Day had the get up of the Green and White Ranger get up.
Oh,
right.
Like that would have been a perfect
chef's
time
kiss, man.
Yeah,
to have done.
when I saw that, yeah, exactly. When I saw that gear, I'm like, oh, is he gonna show up? Is he gonna like do something with the WWE? Why would they do that? There has to be a
Yeah,
reason, but I think he was just there backstage, or that was a different night. Um, but even the New Day, like
Yeah,
they were
influence right
expired,
there.
they were huge fans of the Power Rangers,
mhm.
and it's just like it's amazing from little kids to and to the adults. It's just like it's crazy to me.
Yeah,
Um,
because like
Yeah.
even up until what was it like maybe 2019 or 2020 was like his last Ranger appearance when they did a whole like all generations of Power Rangers like in a big like end game type of battle. Like
right.
Yeah.
they all came through and showed up. I can't remember what was the series, but I know there was like a big build up to that to those. It was like a 2 episode arc.
Well, I
Mm.
know he was at the end of that the Power Ranger movie that did come out in
Yeah,
2019.
no, it was like
Oh,
It
the
was a
new
2018.
while
one.
back.
Yeah,
2018, yeah.
him and Kimberly or
Yeah.
Amy, they were in the end credits. Yeah, I remember that. That was like the only OMG moment in that film. But
That's another conversation.
yeah,
Yeah, that's
that's a
another.
different
But
conversation.
with that being said,
Anyway,
like, I was gonna ask, like, for you guys, is what are your favorite Power Ranger or Green Ranger moments or White Ranger moments with them?
Probably the introduction for me.
That same.
Because you didn't know who he was. He just came. And also he slowly starts getting introduced. And you could tell
and
this dude was going to be some big.
and just the way he came into me, he was like working them
Yeah,
throughout those first 5 episodes that he was in.
right. Damn,
man.
I don't know. That's a good one. I don't know, like, because I did enjoy him in Turbo. I enjoyed him in what is the other one? Zeal, whatever. That
Zio.
Zio.
and Dino. But the only reason why I started watching Dino is because of my brother. My brother was watching Dino, and then once I found out Tommy was in it, I was just like, all right, I'm watching it again, only because he's in it.
Yeah,
And he
and that's
was,
the
and
star
he,
power that he had.
yeah, and he was Tommy Oliver. It wasn't like, oh, we're gonna bring somebody else. We're bringing Jason back, but you're gonna be somebody. No, you're coming back as
Yeah.
Tommy Oliver, and it's like that's the star power. And my brother didn't like. My brother was like, why does he look familiar? And it's like, oh, that's the Green Ranger. I was like, oh
Yeah.
wow, looks different with no hair.
Yeah.
So
And then there was
I
that other episode where it's like all the Red Rangers getting together,
yes.
Oh yeah,
and
that's
Yes.
you had
fire.
the original Jason too was part of that. That was like dope episode.
I always got thrown off because his character's name is Jason. And I was just like, and every time people would bring up Jason, I always had to ask, like, who are we talking about? Are we talking
Right.
about Jason or are we talking about Jason David Frank? So any more comments about Jason David Franks before we move on?
No, but if anyone needs help, I do have the hotline. It's 688. You know, even if you don't want to talk to somebody in person or anything like that, you feel you could be comfortable with your phone. It's right there, 688. Don't be afraid, speak up. We can't be losing more people.
Back,
Yeah.
especially that way. I mean, we shouldn't even be losing people at all.
Yeah.
If we're gonna lose people, it should just be by old age and sickness. Other than that, ain't no need for it. But thanks for the number, Richard. So now let's go on to Full Gear. Did you guys watch it?
I mean,
It took me, hold on. First of all, it took me 18 hours just to finish it. It was 4 hours. I was like, oh my God.
man, I mean, it was a long show, but for me, it was more like the stream that I was on that kept on cutting off. So kind of, I missed some parts here and there, but I did get
Same
to
here.
see probably about a good 95% of the whole show
Hmm.
from there. And for how it was built up, because it really didn't have a strong build. It
No, it didn't.
it
Yeah,
really delivered for the most part. Like I said, a lot of the matches kind of felt fillerish, and but there were still good performances. Like I said,
that's how it felt. It felt like what's it called? Tony Khan was just like, oh damn, I forgot about Full Gear. Damn, okay. You know what? Let's just throw all this in there. Just do it. It's all right.
yeah,
We'll make it work. That's how I felt because when we watch it, well, let's start off with the opening match. Well, the opening match was Jungle Boy, Jack Perry, right?
yep,
Yes.
Versus
Luchasaurus.
Luchasaurus. Um,
Steel cage.
Steel cage match, which was weird. And then I got lost because they escaped the cage, but the match was still going on. And then I was just like, so what was the purpose of the steel cage if you're still gonna leave? Christian Cage was out of the picture, I personally think too early. And then isn't the feud between Jungle Boy and Christian Cage? I understand Christian Cage is hurt and why he couldn't
Yeah.
continue the feud, but it's like now that he beat Luchasaurus, where do you go from here?
It's a weird feud and a weird ending.
It is.
I see no end game in it because once Christian comes back, do we get Christian and Jungle Boy again? So it's kind of
and by that point,
no
like,
end
well,
in
anyone
sight.
really care about that too? Just because granted, what thing is a tricep injury for Christian, so they said
Yeah.
anywhere from 6 to 9 months out
Right.
with that. So by the time he comes back and he's ready to go, again, is anyone going to really care about that feud at that point
Yeah.
when they
No.
revisit it?
Unless Jungle Boy is AEW champion, TNT champion, and Christian comes back, try to take the title off him, then yes. But just to like, hey, I'm back. We're gonna have this feud to, pick up this feud where we left off is like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, that's
Uh,
how I feel. Like I said, it ended off weird because now what happens with Luchasaurus?
right.
He's kind of just there.
And
And
I can't take Christian Cage and Luchasaurus serious no more.
Nope.
It's just like, okay, like once again, it's like, where do you go from here? Where do both guys go from here?
yeah,
So, but what will you guys rate the match?
out of 5, uh, I'll say 3.
3.
Yeah, I'm around that ballpark, 2.5.
I'll give it a 3 as well. It was a good opening match. It was a good opening match, but then going based on the story, it was just like, wait, why is this match happening? And 2, where do you go from here?
Yep, that
And
was
So,
then
my biggest question. Where do
yeah,
you go?
yeah,
There was no end game for me on that one. Like I said, good opening match, got the crowd hot,
they
but
did.
now what?
So now the
and
next
then
match. Oh, go ahead. You had something to say?
Oh, and I was gonna say, and then plus what also kind of brought it down for me too, and real quickly before we go to the next one, it's just like how you mentioned earlier, just the rules of the cage match, like being able to go outside, and that didn't end the match. It was only by submission or pinfall. It was like, so what was the point of the cage? But
Exactly.
Right.
yeah,
You should, and then they went outside the cage to get weapons, but it's like you couldn't have a steel cage inside the weapons. We had
yeah,
that before, so I don't understand it. But yeah, I hate cage match. I hate steel cage match. Hell in a Cell is great because it makes sense, but a steel cage match, it just it doesn't make sense by escaping the cage. And it's like, but if you escape the cage, the whole purpose of the cage match is for that person not to run away from me. But you're giving the option for that person to win by escaping. Why?
Yeah.
right.
Like you
You
said,
know,
Christian out early, you know, it was there ain't no
and
purpose for it.
Christian leaving was a dumb way. What he was trying to do, unlock the door or something.
He
And then,
unlocked it, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah, and then security shows up and takes him away. It's like, really? That's all it took? But all right.
One
Next,
armed
yeah,
bandit, man.
next match. Next match. In my opinion, was match of the night. It was match of the night, and a match definitely something that I would definitely. Well, I have till tomorrow to watch it. So, to watch the replay, and there was the Elite versus Death Triangle match that was kind of last minute for us as fans. I'm pretty sure Tony
Yeah.
Khan already knew it was going to happen, but for us as fans, it was a last minute bonus match and a great match. We got the Elite back. Um, what shocked me the most was Death Triangle getting the W.
I think it
Uh,
shocked a lot of people.
it
It
did.
shocked me.
And
yeah, same.
it wasn't even
Because
how they
I
won.
even said it. Because I even said it on the thread. I was like, all right, well, let's just, this is the burial for Death Triangle because, you know, everybody kind of has a peg that these belts are pretty much just made for the Elite
Yeah.
Right.
instead of like actually establishing like a true trios division. It's like, okay, this is just something for them to have, feather in their cap and say like, okay, they're now a trios champion and they'll hold these for, it's kind of like the women's tag team titles on WWE. It's like, okay, they just met those for Sasha and Bailey, and then it's been the shit show that it's been ever since.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. That's what I expected when I found out about the titles. It's like it's just for the elite, but at least more people. It's a unique way to have new tag team forms and new groups forms because they do have a lot of groups. So that's why I thought it was okay. But the match itself was fantastic.
Oh, it was great.
It was a great match. The ending was awesome. And then Phoenix told a perfect story. Like what was it, the last 2 or 3 minutes, possibly five, when Pac handed
Yeah, the
him the
last 5.
hammer. Phoenix said no. And then he hesitated and bam, hit Kenny Omega, roll him up, and got the 1, 2, 3. And then even Ray Phoenix was like, yeah, oh
Still,
no, I can't
yeah.
believe I did
He was
that.
conflicted.
Yes. And then Pandagon was like, yeah, we did it, bro. It's cool. It's all right. So even
And Pac
Pac
was
was happy. Yeah, Pac was happy.
See, I
honestly for
like the.
me. Go ahead, Richard. Go
Oh
first.
no, you go ahead, man.
No, I was gonna say, like, personally for me, this match really didn't do much to me, just because I've seen the Bucks and Lucha Bros go at it so many times that for me it just kind of feels like the same match just on repeat.
But we never got to see them as a 6-man though.
That's the only kind of like thing. But even then, to me, still feels
Yeah.
like, okay, I've already seen it. And the fact that now we're gonna get it as a best of 7, I'm like, just
Have it.
copy paste, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. But the things that I did like were the finish. I liked the finish and how it really gave Ray Phoenix's character just some more dimension. It's like he's the conflicted member out of his group that he wants to do things right, but his brother's like, nah, fuck that. We do it every which way we can, and of course, Pac is the same way. So it does add that dynamic to it. And then another thing that I would say was good to see was like seeing Omega healthy. Like I
Oh, he
mentioned at the
looked
thread too, it's
great.
like he looked in great shape. He looked healthy. It looks like the year plus off really let his body heal from all of those injuries, and now we can probably see him just go on a hell of a run. Maybe leading back to winning the AEW championship again.
Well, I got 2 things that I enjoyed besides the Omega. Him coming back jacked up now opens up that door, which got announced today with Will Ospreay at Wrestle Kingdom.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
That's one
Yes.
match that well, myself included, wanted to see. Would tear the house down. Just them two. Give me good 30 minutes of them two.
And Will Ospreay, you can watch him on television. Because he's good on television. Don't get me wrong. Has he had some great matches? Yes. But when I saw him live against John Moxley, I'm like, whoa, he's
Same here.
really, really good. Like,
That's
wow.
how I was the Dynamite before All Out. Seeing him live and in person, it's like this guy could go.
Yeah.
I've yet to
I
see him live. That's one of
it's
those.
the television production that doesn't make him look
It
great.
don't do justice.
Yes. So that's why the fans are always like, he's amazing, he's great. And I'm like, I don't see it. And then I saw him live. Oh, there it is.
Guy
Yeah.
could go.
Yeah.
No, I've yet to see him, so I'm hoping to get a chance if they ever do. Well, I know they're going to be here next month in Cedar Park to do a
Might as
Dynamite.
well just come back to Chicago. They're always here in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, kidding, right? But like, hopefully they have Osprey maybe at that show, maybe to kind of do the build up to the Wrestle Kingdom show. But I was going to say though, this Wrestle Kingdom now, I think it's going to be definitely one to not miss because you're going to have essentially
I am gonna miss it
WWE
because of the
talent.
time zone.
You're gonna have WWE talent with Carl Anderson defending the never open weight title.
Yeah.
You're gonna have AEW there and New Japan. So it's gonna be the one show in recent memory where you're
Hopefully
gonna
a
have
TNA
talent from
wrestlers
all
there.
three, and even TNA. You're gonna have maybe from all four promotions on the same
Oh, the
show.
Bullet Club. I forgot
Yeah.
Ace Austin and Chris Bay are part of the
Chris Bay.
Bullet Club.
Yep.
Oh,
So you're gonna have all four promotions basically represented in one show.
oh my gosh.
Man.
That's
Forbidden
fucking
Door,
dope for me.
huh?
I'm like, that's like, I wasn't excited about Wrestle Kingdom that much, but now that I've seen it kind of pre-sale, I'm like, yo, I'm definitely gonna make sure I'm watching that show as it goes on.
Is the main event Okada versus Jay White, right?
Yeah.
For the
Yeah.
IWGP.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
And they
That
face.
should be
I think
another
this is
banger,
the
too.
is this the second or third time they facing each other at Wrestle Kingdom? I know they faced each other once.
Second.
I'll say second.
I think it's
It's
second.
second, right? Because I can't really. I know they faced each other once. I just can't remember if this is their second or third time. It has to be their second time.
Yeah, I want to say it is.
Because it's a big deal. And
Yeah.
if this was like a third time, I feel like it wouldn't be a big deal that it would be, or that it is. So, all right. Well, before we continue, I gotta let everybody know about. Please go ahead and like this video, subscribe, share. Go check out the link below for what do I have down there for pro wrestling tees for some our shirts, spring tees for some merch. And also IG, TikTok, and all that stuff is down there in the link. Please go ahead and check us out and subscribe. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. What was the next match?
Oh, hold on. One more thing I wanted to add. Did you guys hear that subtle jab that they threw at Phil?
Oh my god. Oh, subtle is putting it lightly. Holy
Carry
shit.
on when you are gone.
Oh my god. I mean, the whole match, there was like between that and then the
crowd chants.
The crown chants. That was
Are we finally done with CM Punk?
I think we are.
Because when CM Punk came back, I just wanted a couple matches. Him against Kenny Omega, a tag team match with the Young Bucks. I mean, at the time, Cody Rhodes. You know, there was
some dream matches out there that people wanted to legit see.
Yeah, and Darley Abbott, not so much, but it's like, hey, okay, cool. But then he was just constantly wrestling, and it was just like, oh, he's really.
They burned them off.
Yeah,
you know,
they should have just saved him.
CM Punk the wrestler, good. Won't say great, good. Phil the person, he sucks.
Yeah, everybody would tell you that though.
Yeah.
And the problem is CM Punk, he brings out Cole Cabana. CM Punk brings out Phil Brooks out and it's like, no, we don't care for Phil Brooks. We care
Yeah,
about CM Punk. So be CM Punk. So if you can't do that,
you know
then don't be here no more.
that.
So
Like I said, the wheels burned off on that one quick.
it
I
did.
didn't expect much from CM Punk, but two title reigns that lasted what, 2 days, 3 days?
Not even 2 days. Couple
Exactly.
hours.
Yeah, I mean,
I
he had
So
I think the
yeah, the initial one
first reign was like a week.
a
yeah,
week, and then he injured the foot, and then he was out, came back,
Yeah. And
and
came
then what do you
back.
call it?
and
Had
then
the unification title with Moxley. Moxley wins it, and then like a week later, he wins it back, and then by the end of that
the
night,
night.
it's gone.
Yeah.
You know,
I think what set him off that night was legit hearing the Chicago crowd go from CM Punk the whole night to legit MJF all the whole time he came out.
but he had to have known that that was eventually going to be where it was going to lead to. Like what happened at Full Gear, it should have been Punk putting MJF over,
Yeah, and
and
Well, that
instead,
was the
that was the
original plan in
story.
Chicago and All Out.
Yeah.
right? It
MJF
was
was gonna be the face. They were gonna Tony Khan was gonna have MJF be face and then have Punk turn heel.
right.
And because of Full Gear. But Punk, you know, did what he did. But me personally, I think let's just go ahead and talk about the main event. MJF beating John Moxley for the title. I feel personally that will mean more than him taking the belt off CM Punk because
Agree.
who showed up to Double or Nothing? It wasn't CM Punk. It was John Moxley. When John Moxley showed up, it was crazy when Chris Jericho announced he was going to sign with AEW, but he was already gone, WWE.
Yeah, he was already working New Japan.
Yeah, he was already gone
Yeah.
for, I think it's already been a year, right? At that point. John Moxley
Yeah.
left and he showed up to AEW at Double or Nothing. And then later on, he won a few months later at Revolution, he took the belt off Jericho. And then during the pandemics happened, then he faced at All Out, he faced MGF. And it was a great moment for John Moxley to win because MJF at that time wasn't ready. So this is like 2 years later facing John Moxley again and at his hometown, right? He's from New Jersey, right? MJF.
Uh,
MJF.
Where's he from? Queens,
Nearby
I want to
area,
say he's from
Long
the
Island,
area.
Long
Yeah.
Island.
Long Island. No, when I think about Long Island, I think about Zack Ryder or Matt
Same.
Cardona. So that's why I never
Yeah,
assume anybody else is from there because he's the first person that shows up in my head. So
right.
him and John Moxley is AEW. So for 3 years, he was the guy, same with Chris Jericho, but John Moxley is the baby face. So him taking the belt from John Moxley, I feel like that would mean more to him and be taken more serious than Punk. Because I feel like Punk would try to make it about himself.
Oh
And
yeah.
when
Right.
he beat MJF beat Punk in Chicago at the United Sun Center, that was a great win, and everybody was shocked that happened. But he beat Punk, so it was just like, okay, cool, whatever.
Right.
I felt like he should have beat him at Revolution in the dog collar match, but that's a different story. So I just don't get why. I mean, people not anymore. They don't care about Punk, but I don't know why the story was, oh, MJF is going to take the belt off Punk. If he was just, I don't think that he was the right person for that. And then also Hangman Page, dropping the belt to CM Punk was a bad call.
Oh yeah.
Bad call.
Because now you don't see Hangman doing anything now.
Well,
But
he's hurt
Hangman's
now.
championship, yeah. Well, you said, but also Hangman's championship run altogether was just a dud. I mean, it
Oh
really,
yeah.
as
It
they
was.
they did a great job building him up as the challenger to get the title. But once they got the title on him, it's the same thing just happened with Wardlow, and the same thing happened with Thunder Rosa. It's like they were great at building up the challenger side, building them up as challengers. But once they're champions, like what goes on there? The only one that they've probably done it right has been Moxley,
Mhm.
Jericho. As far as like AEW championship goes, and now they have a shot with MJF because MJF is smoking hot right now, and they can really make him that pillar that they keep talking about, being the 4 pillars and all that stuff. Have him be the backbone to carry the company from here on out. Because Moxley has been doing it for the last 3 years. If anything, he's been the company MVP for the last 3 years because he's been in their clutch for every time that they've needed him.
And that's the good thing, but at the same time, that's the bad thing because Jon Moxley is on TV a lot because they need him,
right?
And that's the bad thing. But hopefully, right now, because Jon Moxley said it himself, he was going to be written off for 6 weeks, because the feud was going to be Punk and MJF, and then he was going to come back after the feud was done, because he was going to be the next challenger for MJF. But obviously what happened, Jon Moxley came back, and now William Regal, though, I called it. Called it 7 hours before the show started. William Regal was going to cause Jon Moxley. Great storytelling.
He's like, those seeds got planted.
Yes, it did. That's what she said. And when he told him, hey, nope, don't use the ring, and then later on, here's the breast knuckles, power of the punch, boom, and then you saw how he flicked off the fans while he covered them, and he still had the middle finger down on the mat, got the 1, 2, 3. Great storytelling. And the match itself, though, it was all right. It was the last 5 minutes, and that's the only thing about AEW.
Right.
It's either you get the first, if they're having 20 minutes, you get the first 15 minutes either great, but then the last 5 minutes it's flat, or you get a decent 15 minutes, but the last 5 minutes, oh my gosh, amazing ending.
Yeah.
You get one of those two. Hardly, I think the last time I could recall was their former WWE guys. It's Jon Moxley and Bryan Danielson when they face each other for the vacate AEW championship. That was like the last one where it's like belt to belt, awesome. Before that, I can't. It's been a while. I can't remember which one.
Yeah, I can agree. That's how it is. You get a hot start, or you get a hot finish. You're not going to get both.
Yeah,
rarely when you get them. But I mean, even if we all saw the turn coming to, it's how it's executed to. Like that's the whole thing about wrestling. Like we already know a lot of stuff is predetermined. We could already kind of call out some spots ahead of time. It's just on the execution of it. Like how do they pull it off? Do they pull it off where it just comes off and gets you invested in there? Which this is what this did. We all could kind of see with the promos and how Moxley would look at Regal talking about, I've seen the devil. I stared at the devil in the eyes, looking directly at Regal, And then as he turns around, like the way they shot the camera with like Regal over his shoulder, just kind of like glaring at him, like you could kind of see the seeds there being sown and how it's going to come up. But it's the execution.
But here's the thing, though: whose call is it? Is it Tony Khan? Is it the producers? Is it Jon Moxley, MJF, William Regal? Who's doing all this producing, building up this match? Because let's face it, there was not too much build up into this match, but the very little things that we did got. Now, when you look back, you just said it. It's the little things of the storytelling. It was like, oh, everything makes sense now.
To me, the buildup wasn't even Moxley and MJF. It was more so MJF and Regal.
Yeah,
it was.
It was there. And if anything, I would say probably, as far as like production wise, who put that also together, it would not surprise me if it was Regal, Moxley, and MJF, all three of them just kind of talking it out and putting it together. Just because we've kind of seen some of the behind the scenes stuff that really Tony Khan tries to like do everything at once. So he do everything himself that you can't really expect him to really be involved in that angle because he's just trying to multi-manage everything at once. Not really. Now he's kind of developing, some producers to actually kind of help build up matches and stuff like that on there. But if we were to like get the backstory to this, it wouldn't surprise me if it was like just the three of them talking stuff together. It's like, all right, we'll do this. Then at this point we hit this mark and we hit this spot. And just let their experiences come together and, give us, these good moments.
Yeah, because the way how the match played out, it looked like it was more of where we have to call it in the ring because we don't know how the fans are going to react. And I will say this before I go back to, I knew MJF was going to win because Moxley wasn't bleeding.
Yeah.
So I was just like, spoilers.
Right.
10 minutes into this match and he's not bleeding, MJF is going over. because
But now
Mox
there's
Moxley
unanswered
bleed when he
questions now
wins.
though with that. There's unanswered questions with Regal,
Yes.
Blackpool Combat Club,
And they
and
showed up
now
explaining to him what happened. And
yeah,
then he got mad about that. So
and then we
what
have the
happens to the
final to
group?
the we got the final for the Eliminator tournament,
Oh yeah, so now it's Ethan Page and Ricky Stark,
and yeah,
and clearly
Ricky's got to go over.
he's going over. So now we're gonna get MJF, Ricky Stark at Winter is Coming. Uh, great for both men. Finally, they're looking into the future of AEW. It's just the only bad thing again, still, it's like they don't really have that much top baby faces for MJF. Because who besides Ricky Stark, and the bad problem is Ricky Stark and MJF, that could build up for 2 or 3 months feud. We're not gonna get that. It's just gonna be a one-time match, and then Revolution, MJF
that's
is gonna
it.
face somebody else. And then after that, he's gonna face somebody else at Double or Nothing. After that, he's gonna face at a special on television, Dynamite special, face somebody else. So and then All Out's gonna happen, and then he's gonna face somebody else, and then maybe drop the belt then, or drop it at next year's Full Gear. Because I'm pretty sure he ain't gonna drop it at Revolution or Double or Nothing. Unless the whole CM Punk thing is I swear we got you guys. You know, CM Punk, this is all a joke to build this huge story with MJF. Um, I just don't see who MJF could drop the belt unless
Yeah,
it's
like you said,
Ricky Stark, but he's already getting his shot in a couple weeks.
there's not that many baby faces. Who do you have? Darby, Starks.
And Darby's cold as shit right now. Just
Yeah,
because it's just been nothing but him and Sting and
the
tag.
thing with Sting needs to end.
And
Yeah, that's
Warlord,
running course.
Yeah, Wardlow could be another
Samoa
guy.
Joe, but he turned heel.
But
Yeah,
then you also got to remember, we still got Final Battle, Ring of Honor.
Which
yep,
Chris Jericho is gonna main event the show, and who is he gonna face? You know,
But then you got double champ Samoa Joe. So can Wardlow go? And who knows? Because the way that match ended too, Wardlow pretty much was like, "All right, I lost. Cool."
yeah.
yeah.
Him and Hobbs, the way they looked at each other, and just kind of like nodded, like, "Yeah, we got fucked."
Yeah.
That,
So like,
Dude,
does
oh
that
yeah.
end Wardlow's
So when that
TNT
happened,
champs?
yeah, so when that happened, right? The Samoa Joe hit Warlord with the belt, and I was just like, damn, I like this sucked. And but it makes sense because Samoa Joe already turned heel like the week before. Was it the week before or was it this week when he turned heel?
that was
It
the week
was
before.
last week. Yeah.
It was last week,
Yeah,
right? So when he turned heel on him, it was just like, okay, cool. And now because of the match and the ending, it makes sense. And then, but what made it awkward was, like you said, the whole after the bell, it was just like they're staring at each other. It would have made sense if what's it called? Samoa Joe would have turned heel that night, grabbed the
Yeah.
right.
belt, hit Warlord. Now them looking at each other will be like, well, damn, I didn't see that coming. Like I wasn't
Yep.
expecting that. Damn, I can't believe like I'm shocked. That builds up the feud, and it was just leading into the match. It was pretty obvious who was going over. It was Samoa Joe, and if he had to go over because if Warlord goes over, and then it was like, what was the purpose of Samoa Joe turning heel?
Yeah.
So
Well, if anything, they could have built to Joe and Wardlow having a grudge match at one of the following shows. But it really,
yeah,
I think the one that
final
got screwed
battle.
over, the one that got screwed over the most was Hobbs,
Powerhouse.
because he was the one that was kind of getting some gas put on him and bringing him built up, and he was coming in like, "Hey, I want to take this title. I want this belt."
Right.
That they could have had him get that belt, have Joe and Wardlow at Final Battle for the TV title, and make that a grudge match right there. And now Hobbs can be free to go on to have his championship run.
Yeah. And then Powerhouse, and I thought he was gonna get the W, to be honest, because you had two baby faces, and it would have made sense for Powerhouse. And he would have had a bigger push because let's face it, Warlord, he's the guy. He's gonna be a big star. Let's face it, he has the look, he could move and all that stuff. He's decent on the mic. So Powerhouse getting a win over Warlord and also Samoa Joe, he would have been taking a serious top heel. But we don't need any more heels. We need more babyface for AEW. So now
Yeah.
I think Powerhouse Hub should be a face now. I can't take him serious as the heel anymore because Tony Khan screwed that up. So now as a babyface, I think he could make it work. And plus, I'm just going based on the promos that they've been shooting. I don't know if it's true about his life and all that, but he said he's from the, in the hard area of the streets. So it's like, why would you want that person to be a heel? Yeah. So somebody who came from a rough, somebody who came from a rough neighborhood. I don't like, and where he's at now, that's something to be proud of. I think you should push him as a baby face.
You build a face like that, you don't build a heel like that.
Yeah.
Like I said, this pay-per-view had a lot of answers that got, finalized, but a lot of questions that left.
I had a lot of answers answered, but then I came out with more questions. So
that I came in with.
Tony Storm dropped her fake title to Jamie, who won a fake title because the whole interim is still there. So one, I want to get your opinion. We'll start off with Richard first, and then we'll go with Jose. First question, do you think Tony should have dropped the belt since it doesn't make sense?
All Out? She should have dropped it since All Out.
Exactly. Two, do you think Tony Khan should have just say, hey, we're crowning a new women's champion?
I think he should. It's been a few months. I know he did mention that in the post-media scrum.
Yeah.
It's a little disrespectful. Everyone's interim. If you're champion there, you're champion there. You got to eventually
to us as
drop
fans, it's like, yeah, you're a champion to us, but reality on paper, you're not a champion.
Yeah, it's a paper championship.
Yeah.
And like I said, she should have won it in Chicago in that fatal 4-way. She was red hot. Same for when the Acclaimed lost. They were red hot there.
Right.
You got the fuel going. But I'm glad she won this championship there, yesterday. She deserves it. But now it makes me wonder what happens with her and Britt Baker.
I think right now Thunder Rosa should come back, face Jamie, and then Jamie, becomes the official AEW World Champion. But now at the same time, it's like, damn,
she lost her steam.
Yeah, fuck Tony Storm then. So
see, I think her title reign was a dud, personally.
Yeah,
like it did nothing for me, honestly.
It did nothing for her. She's defending a title that's still held by Thunder Rosa, and Thunder Rosa doesn't want to come back to do the job for Tony Storm. So maybe that's why Tony Khan put the belt on Jamie, so that way Thunder Rosa will come back and then do the job for Jamie. But honestly, Tony Khan should have just been like, no, we're crowning a new women's champion.
Yeah,
because he said it himself. People asked him, how come Thunder Rosa didn't go outside in the ring and announce to the fans that she's going to vacate the title? You did it backstage because she doesn't draw ratings. So why is she still your women's champion and you're still having all these inter-women's championship matches? It just doesn't make sense. It's like a manager taking over your company saying, he's at home, but he does a bad job, but we're not going to fire him. But he's at home.
Yeah.
It's dumb.
It don't make sense.
It doesn't.
That's because he wants to be their friend more than their boss. And that's been something that's kind of been talked about for the longest time, is that he tries to be more of a friend boss than an actual boss. Because he knows that if he would have done something, that he would have done something like that, like just stripped her off it, she probably would have held it against them. And then, that's the whole another conversation on Tony himself. But definitely the right person won the title. Jamie should have had that title at All Out and been defending it since then. This was a missed opportunity, like you said, because they should have said, all right, it's been 3 months. She's been an inactive champion. We don't know when she's going to come back. We're going to go ahead and make this the linear championship. whoever wins this match will be the official champion. And then that way, when Thunder Rosa comes back, you have already made first contender shot right there for her, because she can come back and say, I never lost this title. It was taken from me. So I got dibs on this next title shot. As soon as she comes back.
But the fact that she didn't want to do the job to Toni Storm, I don't care about Thunder Rosa. I just want her just come back, do the job for Jamie, and that's it.
Right.
I don't care for you. I don't care for the whole buildup. I'm like, oh, I never really lost. No, you should have lost at All Out, 1-on-1 with Toni Storm, but you didn't want to do the job. And then they had the decision of making it a fatal 4-way, but that still wasn't good enough for her. So, but yeah,
but
Jamie, congrats to her.
Politics stuff. Yeah, that's more of that backstage politics and stuff that's been going on. Why so and so won't do a job for so and so, and why they take like subtle jabs, in media, like Toni Storm did, in a few interviews, just taking jabs at Thunder Rosa, how Britt Baker did too, and all that stuff. It's just like behind the scenes pettiness stuff. But kind of going forward to what you were saying earlier, though, like where does that put Britt and Rebel with Jamie? I'm thinking that turn's going to happen, just like with Triple H.
But no, but she helped her. But Brie helped her though. She hit her with the crop stomp and threw her back in there. So she took the turnbuckle cover off. So she did help Jamie to win the title. Now, should she turn on Jamie? I think Jamie should turn on Breaker. Saying like, I don't need you no more. I won the title. I'm still champion.
Like I said, Jamie's red hot right now, where the crowd loves her. She's instantly turning face.
So is that what you want? Will you want her to turn face?
I mean, I like the way she is right now, personally. I don't know what she is right now.
Besides sexy.
But the way she is, it works for her.
It does. But question, do you think, am I the only one that sees Jamie that looks like Jamie Lynn Spears? Am I the only one that sees it? Because I see her a lot. Like, I'm like, oh, damn, that's Jamie Lynn Spears.
You watched a lot of Zoe 101.
I did. Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
I was too old for that one, so I'm going to stay out of that one.
Hey, go Google her. I'm telling you.
No, I know who she is. But that's what I said. Like, I'm way too old for that one, so I'm going to stay out of it.
But I'm just saying she looks like her. She could be one of the Spears family.
But that's another question too. Who steps up to the plate?
Why would anybody want to? She's still the interim. Oh, let's talk about that match next. Sarah, it was a good match, but it was a safe match for her.
Yeah.
So yes, I know you fell asleep.
Legit put me to sleep.
But
yeah, that match did.
It did what she needed to do
for me. It was good to see her back in the ring.
Yes,
like you said, safely.
It was a safe match, except one scary bump with the neck breaker on the outside of the ring apron. But other than that, it was a slow pace, but it was a safe match for her. So that's all I cared about that match. And
storyline wise, it was good.
It was too rushed.
It was the win. That was the whole part of the story was her win. That was like the main thing, was like her getting the win, showing that she can come back, and seeing her come back. And of course, we all have our opinions as to like, is she really able to come back? Because with Edge and Daniel Bryan and other people that have used as comparisons, like, oh, they were out for so and so and then came back. We saw their journey on what they had to do to come back.
Right.
With Saraya, we didn't see too much of that, so it kind of led a lot of doubt, saying, is she really coming back? Because so and so didn't clear her, and so didn't clear her, and now all of a sudden she's getting cleared by everyone. Is somebody getting bought just for the purpose of having her come back, and then she gets hurt again, and she ends up in a worse position. Right. That was a lot of the concern. Now that we've seen her come back, she had her first match. Okay, we can go ahead and say, all right, she's back, and she's going to be doing some more stuff as time permits and all that stuff, and maybe she can have a great second half of her career and be able to go out on her terms, which it's great.
My fear is that she's going to go
match
after.
Itself,
oh, my bad.
I would say, but the match itself, like I said, it didn't do anything to me other than what it did.
Yeah, but that's what I expected. I wasn't expecting a 5-star match. I wasn't that. I just wanted her to walk out the ring safe.
Yeah,
My biggest fear is the fact that Tony Khan's like, oh my God, that was a great match. Okay, you're wrestling again next week, and then the week after that, and the week after that, you're gonna wrestle every week. And that's my fear. Like,
Yeah,
no, chill. Don't put her in the AEW women's titles picture yet. No need for that. You're it, she showed up, she made her debut. You're barely over the 1 million views. So there's no need to rush all this stuff.
let her wheels turn slow. Give her a few,
Yes.
QT students.
And plus, you still have the word intern in the
Yeah,
women's. Why? Figure that out first before you figure out anything else. Jeez. Still figure out what's
agree.
going on with Punk. You know, what other the claim, Scissor Me Daddy. Richard, I'm pretty sure you want to talk about that. Was that your favorite match
I
of the
enjoyed
night?
it.
I thought
It's
it was
up
all
there.
right.
It's up there.
I thought it was all right.
It finally dissolved Swerve in Our Glory.
Yeah.
Finally lets Keith Lee do his own thing.
I thought that match was too long, but then once I got to that ending, I was like, oh, okay, it explains it because they're trying to have like enjoy this last moment together. So that's
Yeah,
why they had so much of a time. Because I was just like, damn, this is a long match for the third time they facing each other already.
yeah,
So, but it was and then it was stuff that I was like, oh, we've seen this before. We've seen it's kind of like the Young Bucks. That's why
yeah,
it sucks seeing the Young Bucks facing like the Lucha Brothers because it's like you guys are doing the exact same thing. It's just different times. So,
right.
what you
and
guys did in the
and
last match.
that's been the issue that I've been having with AEW. You're getting a lot of the same matches, like Jose said earlier. 7 matches, the Elite and Death Triangle. I don't want to see
Yeah.
it 5, 7 times. Seen it
No,
already.
and it's not even leading up to a pay per view.
No,
The
it's
last
No,
match
just
is on a
sporadic.
Dynamite. Yeah.
it's in the middle of January.
Yeah, and it's not gonna end on Revolution, nothing like that. It's just it's
It
like
just ends.
you didn't really thought this through. And then also they already started the first match. It's like, why didn't you announce it? Like,
Before time, yeah, announcing that it's a
yeah.
best of seven only after the Elite loses, and all of a sudden it becomes a best of seven series. And this match one
And
is like, what the fuck were you doing?
yeah, it doesn't make sense, but okay, whatever. But yeah, the Swerve, Keith Lee, they're separated. Are they gonna have a feud together? That's the question. Possibly. I hope not because Keith Lee
I
didn't.
can't see it.
I don't see it, and I don't want to see it. And then Keith Lee didn't do anything. He just walked out. It was just like, no, I don't want to win this way. You
Yeah,
know, I don't want to cheat or anything like that. But it was a good match. The ending
yeah,
saved it a lot, a
Yeah,
lot.
it's kind of like how we said earlier. It's like the match was mid, and then it was the last 2 to 3 minutes that basically made the match.
Right.
It's either a hot finish with a dud. I mean, a hot start with a dud finish, or somewhat of a duddish start with a hot
a
finish at the
hot
end.
Yeah.
finish.
Yeah, and
And
this is like another case of that.
then the most shocking match that I'm surprised that we got was Jeff Jarrett, Jay Lethal versus Darlene Elvin and Sting. That was a TNA match. That was the match of the night for me. Now the Young Bucks, the Elite versus the Death Triangle, that was match of like one of my top matches of the year. But just pay per view wise, Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. First of all, Jeff Jarrett showing up with his song "My World."
Oh man,
Whoa, oh my gosh, this is
it
awesome,
brings
and
back those 2006,
it does. And
TNA vibes.
what's crazy, and oh my god, and the fans were chanting TNA, not
Yep.
WCW, TNA. And it was just like a great feeling and watching Sting and then going back to Sting, going back towards Jason David Frank. I wanted Sting to retire. I think he should have retired. He should have never came back to AEW. He should have never wrestled. But now Jason, obviously by the time I watched that match, Jason David Frank was, I already knew he passed away, and then I watched that match, and I'm just like, I don't want Sting or Jeff Jarrett to retire. I don't like keep going because you guys were the reason I started watching TNA wrestling. So it's like Tommy was the reason why I still followed the Power Rangers timeline.
Right.
He wasn't the reason why I started watching Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, but to like, wait, what's going on in Power Rangers? Is Tommy's on there? Oh, okay, yeah, I'll check it out. He's the reason, but Sting and Jeff Jarrett are the reason why I was like, what's TNA wrestling? I'll go check it out. They're from WCW. Oh, Jeff Hardy, TNA, damn, Christian Cage, damn, Rhino, damn, Team 3D, Kurt Angle. Oh, Kurt Angle's in it. Okay. I guess I'm a TNA wrestling fan. So it's like when you see people like that, and it's like when you look back in your life, and it's like these guys are the reason why I started watching that. Why do I want them gone? So it's like, so get to see
it's the nostalgia of it.
Yeah.
And getting to see, it does. And getting to see Jeff Jarrett versus Sting, it's like, oh my gosh. Closure.
I gotta admit, for 55 years old, Jeff Jarrett was in shape.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That guy could go.
Yes. And he
I think
reminds me of sorry, but I just want to say, like, the way he wrestles is something like similar to MJF, playing it safe in the ring, just the emotion and the storytelling. Yeah. If you don't know how to do flips, don't do it.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, like, I think somebody like on Twitter posted it's like when Jeff made his debut in AEW, it's like, if it's one thing Jeff Jarrett knows how to do is how to get a bag. Because you could, how many times have probably people counted him out throughout the decade of like trying to, how he ran TNA, how try to start Global Force, the whole Gold Bars thing, to then he found his way back to WWE, getting in the Hall of Fame, getting a backstage job, to getting fired from the backstage job, to now in AEW, and not only in AEW as a performer, but also on a backstage role. It's like this dude has just been able to grind it out.
Yeah, because Tony Khan hired him to do live shows, live events in the future, right? Or is he just, is just television?
I think live events in general.
Yeah, just like dark shows, like house shows and stuff like that.
Because eventually they start going on the road and doing like the house circuit. I think that's what he's going to be handling over.
And that's the one thing that AEW needs, because like they have so much talents where it's like, it's like at a point where it's like, why am I still watching these guys in the indies? Like, aren't you guys signed with AEW? They need, right. So it's a good thing for them. And I feel once they start doing live events, that's when WWE will be more of they could be a true threat now, because there are these live events, and these live events, what do you need? Sponsors. So they're getting a good amount of sponsors, but just for a television network, but getting sponsors involved of house shows and live events, that's big money right there too.
Oh yeah.
So one by one, I'm gonna ask you guys, just give me a rate of the matches that took place at Full Gear. So let me just pull up I remember the first one. Jungle Boy, we'll start off with you, Jose. Jungle Boy versus Luchasaurus. You said a 3, so did you, Richard, right?
3 out of 5.
So
yeah, 2.5 out of 5.
2, not like a low 2 or a high 2?
No, it's a 2.5. It's in between.
All right. Where's the lineup? So Death Triangle versus the Elite. How are you guys? We'll start off with you, Richard.
That's a spot fest, man. I'm giving a good 5.
5 out of 5. Ooh, first out of 5. All right, we're starting good. What about you, Jose?
2.5 out of 5.
Damn.
Like I said, it's because I've seen this match so many times already, and it's like a lot of the same spots that I'm like, I want to see something fresh from them, from both teams.
Yeah, that's why I gave it a 4 out of 5. But I would agree with you, because I did see everything. We've seen this before. It was kind of like a video game kind of thing. I would have given it a 3, but the reason why I'm giving it a 4 is because the ending. It shocked me. I wasn't expecting that, especially from Ray Phoenix. Yeah, it threw me off a lot, especially with Ray Phoenix, and it was perfect.
I mean, that's the
Uh,
last person that you would have expected in that match to even do anything like
and
that.
he sold it afterwards. Oh my gosh,
Perfectly.
perfect. Jada versus what's her name? Rose, not a Rose. I forgot about
I
that
give it a
match.
generous 2.
Jada looked fine. I'm gonna give it a 3.
I'll give that outfit a 5.
Man, that
The
outfit,
Yeah,
match a
I'll,
2.
yes.
I'll give her outfit a 5, the match a 2.
Okay,
I'm
fair,
with Richard
fair.
on that one.
The match that I was very disappointed on: Chris Jericho versus Brian Danielson, Claudio, and Sammy, Fatal 4-Way match, Ring of Honor World Championship. I give it a 3.5. I really thought that was gonna be a 5 out of 5. What? You,
3.
Yeah, I'm in the same park. So it did nothing for me. If Jericho would have lost it to Brian, then yeah.
I,
Right.
now see, because of Final Battle, that's the reason why I didn't want Chris Jericho to drop the belt to Brian
But
Danielson. I feel like it should be Chris Jericho versus Brian Danielson at Final Battle because
and that's kind of
that
what
could be
gave
the
the
Final
finish away
Battle.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That kind of gives the finish away too, because since we already know what's coming up in December, you're like, okay, Jericho's going to win it, but how?
Right.
And he won it clean. Let's say that.
Right?
No,
I was
no,
clean.
no Floyd.
No.
Yes. Sarara and Dr. Britt Baker.
Give it a 2.5.
I give it a 3 because it was I
It
got what
was
I
slow paced.
expected.
It was
Yeah.
slow, but it was expected.
Yeah, it was expected. So I give it a 3. It's a good 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
Same, 2.5 for the finish.
I mean, you fell asleep, so it's fair.
Exactly. I'm like, I can't say too much. Like, I fell asleep through it. I'm like, I like the finish, so 2.5 on the finish.
You're not blaming the old age on it, right?
All right.
Oh, no.
Next match was Samoan Joe, Warlord, Powerhouse Hubs. What's the rate on that match?
I'm gonna go 2.75.
Yeah, I give it the same.
2.7. I give it like a solid 3. It was good. I just felt like the ending was good, but it was kind of spoiled.
It was awkward.
It was just it
Yeah,
was awkward because it
it
was
was
just like
awkward.
yeah, it was awkward the ending. I liked it, but it was like, oh wait, that's not shocking because Samoa
Yeah.
Joe turned healed already. So it's like,
It goes
um,
back to our conversation. Final battle around the corner.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like it's probably gonna be Samoa Joe versus Warlord for both titles.
But it
Right.
did give us 3 sweaty men, man.
Yeah. Big
3
sweaty man
big,
slapping
meaty,
meat.
sweaty.
A lot of
Big man
meat in that
slapping
ring.
meat.
A
A
lot.
lot of
Sheesh.
meat. That's why I'm afraid to go to export because that's all those are the kind of men you see in there.
Oh, you'll be all right. You'll be all right.
No, I just stand by the water. Just
I'll say,
say, yeah.
I'm like, you're taller than me. You shouldn't even be intimidated. I'm short as fuck, and I go in there and I see them fuckers.
Yeah, but
How
then you get a
short?
guy
How
like
short are
Powerhouse
you?
Hobbs, just what's up?
How
Me, I'm
short are you?
5'6". Like I said,
Oh
I'm
yeah,
5'6".
that's right. 5'6". When he told me he was shorter than me, that blew my mind. I was just like, dang, you look bigger in the photos. You look huge. That's what she said. Not
It's
to
all
me.
angles.
That's true. That's why I don't send pics. You gotta see it in person. Sting, Darlene Allen, versus Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal.
I give it a 3 for the nostalgic reasons.
I give it a 3.5.
3 for the nostalgia, and because I actually did like the finish, the whole combination of the coffin drop with the scorpion death drop.
Yeah,
It
that was
wasn't,
nice.
yes,
Like,
it didn't connect it well, but it was a nice finish.
yeah, I was like, I hadn't seen anything like that really done before, so that was nice.
Yes, it was good. And then getting to see and I also love the fact that it was Jeff Jarrett and Darby and Jay Lethal and Sting, not Sting and
Right.
Jeff Jarrett.
Yeah.
Because it's usually that's how it goes. So I like that.
I got to give a bonus 5 points though to that toss that Satnam did to Darby.
That shit.
Yeah.
He
Oh
lost
damn!
his
How did we
ass.
forget about that? And he didn't even soul it. He just caught him like, yeah, this is
He
nothing.
caught him and just
Oh, he picked him up like a powerbomb.
Yeah.
He got Taz laughing.
man.
He's like, I'm trying not to laugh. He's like, why am I laughing? Why am I giggling? He's like, 'cause you hate him. He's like, oh, that is true. But it was like he was laughing because how he spinned him, because he it was his back. He was supposed to land on his back, but he
He
spun him
spun
too
somehow.
hard.
It was like a
Too
pizza spin.
hard. Yeah.
Yeah,
Spin him too hard. He landed face first. Oh
man.
man, I started laughing. I was just like,
Yeah,
damn,
that part
bro.
was
If
hilarious.
you would have done that to me, I would have got up. I'm like, nope. You disrespect the shit out of me. I'm done. I'm breaking
I ain't
kayfabe. I
getting
don't
up.
care.
You know how Buzz Lightyear was in the first one when he was on the floor, like
Yeah.
that
Oh,
would
with
have been
his
me.
arm.
That would have been me. The leg all broken.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. If that hurt.
Man.
I wouldn't. If that didn't hurt me, I would get up and like break kayfabe. Nope. You disrespected me. But if that hurt, nope. Take it home. Cover me. I'm not getting up. That was messed up and funny.
Man.
Even Sting jumped off and landed on him and Jay Lethal and who was it? I think Sanjay Doug was there. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
But
I
when
think
doesn't
Sting,
Sting jump off things?
I think Sting has it now in his contract that for every match he's got to do some kind of dive off of
He's
something.
got to jump.
He's
yeah,
got to jump something.
he
This
has
man's
to.
he's hitting like New Jack levels
Every
of
pay-per-view.
stage dives.
I think it's just that's his way of getting an OMG or holy shit moment. I
Well,
think
it's
that's
crazy
like
'cause
that's
he
the
was-
63
spot.
though? At 63?
Hey,
I mean-
remember when Jeff Hardy jumped off that ladder onto the table when he first came to AEW? They wanted Sting to do it.
Shit.
Mm.
Sting was down for it.
Sting was down for it too. Oh, I was at that show. That was in Cedar Park.
Yeah.
The one that he did from the freaking
The rafter
concourse
thing?
area. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was literally like from where I was sitting. That was across on the other side. Like I could, even if I wanted to get up and go try to go watch it live, like I probably wouldn't have made it in time to like make it all the way halfway around the building.
Imagine if Sting would have did that. He would have Buzz Lightyear.
Damn, that's crazy to know that. I didn't even knew that.
Yeah.
But geez, if he would have done that, this match wouldn't even happen right now. We would have not seen the match that we took place. So, all right, on to the next. Jamie versus Tony Storm.
Give it 3.5.
I give it a 3.5.
3.5.
It was a really good match. It's just the problem with the whole the interim. It's just like it ruins
Yeah.
it for me.
Yeah.
But the bell to bell, great. It was a great match. The Acclaim versus Swerve in Our Glory. This was like a 3 to me.
Yeah,
3.
2.5.
Yeah.
Very. Like it was like what you said earlier, Jose, with the Young Bucks and the Death Triangle. It was like we've seen all these spots before, but it was the ending. It's like, let's see how the ending turns out. And this is one of those things where it's like we've seen everything. You guys done all this already, but the ending was it was beautiful. Beautiful. MJF and John Moxley. This match, I'm not gonna lie, this match was kind of disappointing. I expected it was a really good match. I just expected it a little bit more. But the ending was magical.
Back to what I said earlier. Ending of 5. Whole match, probably a 3, solid 3.
Yeah.
For the
Man.
ending, I'll give it 3.75. Like because of the finish. I'll give it that.
Yeah. I gotta do it like out of 10. It's a 8.5 out of 10 because I feel like a 3.5 doesn't do it justice, so I have to go a little bit higher. So like a 8 out of 10, but only because now the only reason why I got to do out of 10 is because the ending is what made it got it to 8.
Yeah,
Right.
The bell, the beginning of the bell tours before the ending of the match, it was like a 6 out of 10. It was good, So, but the ending was just perfect. And like we've said in the beginning of the show with AEW, it's either you're gonna get a great 15-minute match, but the last 5 is gonna be garbage, or a decent match, but the ending is gonna be where the
Chef's
money's
kiss.
at. Yes,
Exactly.
that's what it is. Chef kiss. I'm like, why am I doing this? And I don't know I forgot the meaning of it. But anyways, delicious. So, so how will you guys rate this show overall?
Out of 10, I'd probably give it a solid 7.
I agree with that answer.
Same.
7, 10.
7 out of 10. I mean, and because we'll get to with these shows too, is because of the length of these shows. A lot of these matches, at least 3 of them probably could have been done on Dynamite or on Rampage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They weren't really like pay-per-view quality matches, and that's just been the thing. It's like they overload these pay-per-views, and I get it because Tony wants to give the fans as much as possible. It's like on a pay-per-view, even if it's on a Saturday night, like being at a show for 5 hours, it can fucking just by the end of it, you're like, I just want to go home already. I don't even
No intern. What's that intermission?
no intermissions, nothing like
No.
that.
Yeah, none of that. So it's just like, yeah, I get it. I get what he's trying to do. On paper, it seems like it's working. Because like, oh, we're gonna have 4 or 5 pay-per-views, so they're gonna be pretty long. But then it's like half of those matches, it's just like,
Yeah,
they're just there.
they're
And-
decent. They're not pay-per-view quality.
Yeah.
And back to what you said, lengthwise, that's what 6 hours of sitting down. Because you got to think before the show, they're probably filming dark,
Dark.
and then you got 0 hour, and then you got
Mhm.
the main pay-per-view.
Yeah,
When the pay-per-view is alone is 4 hours.
exactly.
And again, and we're getting matches where it's like you don't know what to predict, where it's like you go through all this where it's like, oh man, this match was great, but the ending was awesome, or damn, this match started off hot, but the ending sucked, and then it ruins
Right.
it for the next
Yeah.
match. So
See, I know if I go to a pay-per-view like how I did All Out, double deodorant, double.
that's why I love Impact Wrestling. 3 hours. Sometimes
That's like that's
sometimes
like
2 hours and 50 minutes.
like with the rumble coming up, like I'll be going to San Antonio for that. Just for the drive alone, I'm going to be leaving because it's about an hour and a half with traffic getting there, parking and everything there. Probably going to spend about a good maybe 6 hours total on the event, just from getting there, coming back,
Right.
getting parking, getting stuff settled down. You know, probably going to buy some merch. You know, be in the merch line and stuff like that. While
But
they're probably
the
doing the
thing
pre-show.
is, but comparing the Royal Rumble to all of AEW's pay-per-views,
Oh, yeah.
we got the Royal Rumble match itself, which is an hour, and you have this whole, oh my gosh, what are we gonna expect? We can expect anything we want, plus the world title matches, and then who's gonna go over, who's gonna win, what's gonna happen for WrestleMania, and with AEW's pay-per-view, it's always, well, oh, they'll have a great match, but then it ends, the build-up ends in Dynamite. It doesn't end on a pay-per-view.
Right.
And then sometimes they'll start in the Dynamite and they'll end on a pay-per-view, and then or it'll end on like they'll have a match building up for Dynamite, but the feud will end on Dynamite. It's just like, why?
Or it'll end in a media scrum. Who knows?
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
That's the
I will
other
say
thing.
the media scrum for this one though, NJS promo, fucking loved it.
Amazing.
Because
It was great.
He threw so many like little pot shots there by doing the Punk on the best on the mic in the ring. That was a Punk call out. The Cornette call out at the end,
Yeah.
like fuck you, thank you.
Goodbye.
And even then, just Tony in the background looking so awkward, especially when he's like, "Well, you believe I was gonna put over this motherfucker?" No offense, that fucking line just fucking
Man,
killed me
Tony,
right there.
Tony was sitting there having flashbacks of Knob Man
That man was having PTSD
with a smile on his face too, just sitting there like, oh shit.
Oh man,
Tony Khan needs to like stop doing with that whole backstage media stuff. It's like getting him in trouble. But the thing is with MJF, he doesn't care. But it's not like CM Punk doesn't care, where he's like, I'm mad, I don't care, blah blah. MJF is just like, I don't care. You know, if you're gonna do this, if you're gonna give me an opportunity, cool, I'll run with it. But you know, who I am is what you're gonna get. This is my character. My character acts out. My character cries. He's basically like a Christian Cage kind of deal, you know, or Christian, you know, back in 02 and all that, or 03, when he'll lose and he'll throw a big fit.
Yeah.
That's what kind of like MJF is as a character. But like I said, but with CM Punk, he doesn't know how to be CM Punk anymore. He's always, every day is, ever since he left WWE, he's become Phillip Brooks, but people know him as CM Punk.
yeah.
He doesn't know how to be CM Punk anymore.
No. And even then, like if you've seen his stuff like post all the stuff that's happened, like now that he's been doing back the MMA commentary and stuff like that, you could kind of see too that I think wrestling brings out the worst in him. Even though he's good at it, it brings out the worst in his personality.
It does.
Because like seeing him do those commentaries for like the last few fights, he seems beyond happy.
He's
It's
at
much more
peace.
he's not stressed and he seems more personable.
Yeah. It's just that a lot of wrestlers has said it before. Wrestling, you love wrestling, but wrestling doesn't love you back.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's how it is with CM Punk. And like I think the problem with CM Punk was he was just Tony Khan ruined it. Tony Khan brought CM Punk back. He did what we all wanted, but like I told you guys earlier, I just wanted a couple matches out of him. That's all I wanted. I didn't need to see him every week, blah, blah, blah. And that's what happened. CM Punk got burned out. And I don't even know why CM Punk even agreed to do all that, because it's like, isn't that why you complain when you were WWE champion? I'm working too much. You're the top guy and you can barely handle it. But then here in AEW, after all these years you were gone, you think you could just pick up where you left off?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
and you can't do that. You can't just go back to somewhere new and be like, yeah, I have like experience all of this. I could work your schedule, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, you should have the first year, you should have took baby steps,
But the craziest
He's
thing
a
about this
two-time
is
champ.
two-time champ
yeah,
of a total of what? A week?
seven, no, not even
Hours.
7, 8. Shit.
Hours.
Actually, 5 days total.
Yeah, because he
Then
won a double
combined.
or nothing. He won the double or nothing Saturday. He showed up with FTR. What happened? First of all, what happened to FTR?
Bro, I don't know whose shit they pissed on or whose bed they shitted on, but man, them dudes, and they're having fucking bang out matches. That's the crazy part. They, even though they're not getting pushed, they're still the tag team champions in what, like 3 companies,
AAA, New
fucking
Japan.
and having fucking banger matches, and they can't get any love. At least not from like the fucking front office.
They're not even in the game.
And Fight
That's what.
Forever?
Yeah.
No, they're not.
Wow. That's crazy.
Speaking of Fight Forever, Punk off the cover.
Oh my god. Yep.
Finally. Did they ever review the cover? The new one?
MJF is on it.
Omega.
He took Punk's spot.
No, I think
So it's
Omega did. I think
MJF,
Omega's in the
Jade,
middle.
Jericho. Yeah.
Interesting. Should have Cody Rhodes. Is Cody Rhodes going to be on the game?
The Codester, the American Codester.
Yes. The American Coaster. Cody Rhodes needs to come back.
Well, I'd say maybe at the Rumble we'll see him. I'll call it out if I spot him there.
I'm trying to go to Philadelphia for WrestleMania 40. That's what I'm trying to do. I was going to go to Hollywood, but I'm like,
Hollywood. Now
Really?
that's
Philadelphia I'll try to go to.
Hollywood, The Rock.
you might be paying Taylor Swift ticket price for if you try to go to the Hollywood one right now.
Shoot, hell no. I'm down. Plus, Hollywood doesn't excite me. Philadelphia, I always been wanting to go there. So that's why I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm going to try to go. And plus, my friend lives like in Maryland. So he lives like an hour and a half away from where the stadium's going to be at Philadelphia. I already searched. So I was like, all right, cool. So I'll probably do that. Go visit him and then go see WrestleMania if I get tickets though. So I could always crash at his place, hopefully.
Hell
If
yeah.
his girlfriend's cool with it. But I don't know I don't know what else to talk about. But anything else you guys want to talk about? We got a couple minutes before we log off.
I'm blank.
Blink. All right, well, give me 3 matches that you enjoyed since the year is almost over. Give me 3 matches that you guys so far that is on your top match of the year. If you want to give me more than 3, that's fine. So I'll give you guys a second. I have my own list, so I'll give you guys a couple minutes to think. But here's my list. Let me find where is it? Okay, so far I got for 2022 matches of the year. in my book. In no order: John Moxley versus Will Ospreay at Windy City Riot, New Japan Pro Wrestling. Cody Rhodes versus Seth freaking Rollins, Hell in a Cell.
Yep, that's
Kevin Owens versus Stone Cold Steve Austin,
That's on mine too.
WrestleMania 38. Jay White versus Alex Shelley at Sacrifice Impact Wrestling. I got to see it live, and oh my gosh, Jay White, it's one of those people too, like Will Ospreay, even though he's no Will Ospreay, but Jay
TV does no
White,
justice.
it doesn't. You got to watch him
Nope.
live, and Alex Shelley as well. I always enjoy Alex Shelley's work, and oh my gosh, so this was a dream match for me. Another match that happened at Sacrifice: PCO versus Jonah. You guys haven't seen it? Check it out. Bianca Belair versus Becky, SummerSlam.
Okay, yep.
I wanted to go with WrestleMania, but the fact that Becky dislocated her shoulder and still had a great match, I'm like, I gotta remove it. I gotta remove the WrestleMania and put this one on there. I got Jordan Grace versus I cannot pronounce her name. Masha
Masha,
Masha at Bound for Glory. That was a great match. And Masha is a hardcore wrestler.
Yep.
And the fact that she had a great classic match with Jordan Grace at Bound for Glory, I was like, I gotta give it to her, to both women. I got Josh Alexander versus Eddie Edwards, Bound for Glory. I got Gunther versus Sheamus at Clash of the Castle.
A banger.
that's my third one right there. That'll be my third one.
Yeah.
And I got Edge versus Finn Balor, I Quit match, Extreme Rules.
That was a good one too.
The ending of that match was perfect. Perfect. So, but I'm assuming you guys agreed 3 out of those matches that I just listed.
Oh yeah, I can agree.
Yeah, you said yeah.
Which one was those again?
For me, seeing Kevin Owens and Stone Cold, because I got to see that live, so that was great. Oh man,
Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins.
Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins, Hell in a Cell, and then Sheamus, Gunther, at Clash of the Castle.
That
I
match,
agree with those.
that match should have not been that great, but it was great. I guess it's because we're so used to the Vince McMahon era that we're just like, oh yeah, Sheamus could wrestle.
So. And to think what the original plans for Gunther were from Vince, that he was going to have him just pretty much job out and then send him back to NXT, to now it's like, dude, he would have thrown away that match basically.
Yeah,
that had a Clash of the Castle. I'm like, fuck, thank God Vince is gone.
for real.
Yeah. That guy, I mean, I love Vince, but that guy, he was more focused on why am I throwing a blank? The investors, the stock holders and stuff like that. He was more of like, because they're the ones are like, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that, my kids like this, so they were trying to do whatever they were doing. He was doing whatever it would take to make those people happy.
Yeah,
and also the sponsors, because but when it came to the fans, it was like, you guys are gonna watch regardless. And it's like, even though that's true, it's like, come on, man. You once in a while, you can't have these people just have them wrestle.
Right.
So, and it's only been like what, 3 months already with Triple H taking over, and there's been some hiccups, but at least we're getting wrestling though. It's like, oh damn, I don't even care about those hiccups. I can't even think about any of those hiccups right now because of those great matches we got since Triple H took over.
There's been more good than bad in the last 4 months that Triple H has pretty much been running the show. Yeah, like I said, there's been a few Raws, a few SmackDowns, and even a few NXTs that have been like, but the good has definitely outweighed the bad in the last few months.
But you gotta have some good and bad to appreciate the next episode. So like when you go, we all watch television, from The Office, How I Met Your Mother, The Simpsons, The Family Guy. You can't sit there and say that was a great episode. Right? It was a good episode. There was some great. There was I don't understand why they did this episode, but it doesn't stop you from watching it next week. Right. And then that's how you appreciate when then finally next week shows up and it's like, oh wow, this episode was so great. I totally forgot what happened the last episode. Even though it was bad, but I forgot. So you have to have some good in bed. But with Vince, it was just like, God damn, dude, come on.
It was flatlining.
It was just
Yeah,
watching it out of habit more than anything else. It was like just became a habit to watch it, not because I was looking forward to watching it.
Yeah. Like for me, it's Mondays. Oh, Raw's on. I'm gonna watch.
Yeah, and when Vince, and it sucks now because now I have to do my podcast more because more shit is going on.
Yeah.
Before it was just like, nothing happened. Now it's like, great, a lot of stuff is happening. I can't do this every week. This is difficult. It's like no wonder Russell Talk has like eight people on that show. Like right now it's just me and Ever, and we can't pay people to be on this show. So it's like, damn it. Oh well, we'll get there. Anyways, appreciate you guys for being on here, especially you, Richard. I've been trying to get you on the show for a long time. Jose, thanks for always being on the show.
Absolutely.
Oh, I forgot one bonus match for me
Ooh.
personally. It involves Kenny Omega
Ooh.
all out against Ace Steel.
You know what? I'm mad at myself because I was just like trying to think about it and I fell for it.
Oh,
but I'll give you that one. I
With
didn't
special
personally
guest
see it.
referee Larry the Dog.
Poor Larry.
Poor
Oh
man.
my gosh. That was a good one. You got me that one. I was like, Ace Steel. I'm like, that happened this year? I was like, oh my gosh, this guy got me. He got me. But man, that was funny. So you know what? Since I got before we leave, we'll go ahead and do King of the Ladder. I'll do I'm not gonna say this, but oh gosh, there's no clean way of saying it. I'll do it one at a time. Ain't no clean way. Yeah, there was no clean way of saying it. I was like, I'm just gonna say it. So we'll start off with you, Richard. Overrated or underrated? All right. Johnny Gargano,
Underrated.
Matt Riddle,
He's becoming overrated.
Rey Mysterio,
Underrated.
Gunther,
Underrated.
Moose,
Ooh. Ooh. I love me some moves. But he's a little overrated sometimes.
Jordan Grace,
Oh, overrated.
Bianca Belair.
Also overrated.
We're gonna go with you now, Jose. Same people. Johnny Gargano,
Underrated.
Matt Riddle,
Overrated.
Rey Mysterio,
Underrated.
Moose,
Overrated.
Gunther,
Underrated.
Jordan Grace,
Fucking overrated.
Bianca Belair. I hate you.
Getting overrated.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. All right. Here's a one. King of the Ladder. We'll start off with you, Jose. King of the Ladder. John Cena versus the Roman Reigns.
Reigns.
Roman Reigns versus the Miz.
Reigns.
Roman Reigns versus Seth freaking Rollins.
Seth.
Seth freaking Rollins versus Rey Mysterio.
Seth.
Rollins versus Ricochet.
Seth.
Seth Rollins versus Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor. Really? Hold on. Really?
I love Seth. I'm a bigger Kevin Owens fan.
All right. Kevin Owens or Finn Balor?
Kevin Owens. Even that's a close one for me, but Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens or Bray Wyatt?
Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens or Drew McIntyre?
Kevin Owens still.
Kevin Owens or Edge?
Ooh.
He hesitated on that one.
Kevin Owens.
Kevin Owens or Stone Cold Steve Austin?
I already saw it, so Stone Cold.
Do you agree with that, or do you want to go through the list, Richard?
Oh, I can agree with that.
All right. Who would have been like because you kind of like hesitated with Kevin Owens and Edge. Who you would have gone with, Kevin Owens, or you would have picked Edge?
I probably would have picked Edge.
Okay, so with Edge and Stone Cold, who are you going with?
Stone Cold.
Okay, so Stone Cold is the
Stone
king of the
Cold.
ladder. So I try to have Stone Cold go first, but I feel like he's just gonna go run through everybody. And it's just like that's no fun. So at least in the end, it's like, oh, okay, cool. I respect that. So, anyways, appreciate you guys being on this long ass show. I think it's been like
Thanks for having
way
me,
over
man.
an hour.
Damn, bro. It's always good
You,
to
first of all, you're always welcome. You just need to respond to my messages. So same with Angel and Christian. Actually, no, forget Christian. He said my show sucks. So he's blacklisted. So anyway,
He's blackballed.
he is. So
He's filled out.
I mean, he can make it up to me if he wants to be on the show. So better hurry up before I get 115 subscribers. I'm at 113 right now, Angel.
Oh
Christian.
shit!
Christian.
Wait.
So all right, well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Jose. Thank you, Richard, for being our guest host. Congrats on your 1 year anniversary with your wife, Casey. Shout out to her. Please like this video, subscribe. Everything, link, merch, everything's down below. And yeah, until next time, we are out. Doo-doo. Yay!